Stop here if you are over 60, so please skip this video. Have you ever done everything right and still watched her pull away? You texted at the right time, you were kind, you were available, you showed her you cared, and somehow that was exactly the problem. She started calling you a great guy, but the tone in her voice said something else entirely. The conversations got shorter, the replies got slower, and you were left sitting there replaying every moment trying to figure out what you did wrong. That feeling, that quiet, confusing ache of trying so hard and getting less back, I know it. And I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share changes everything. I'm your host, and this is Teal Swan Advice, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. Not the surface stuff, not the pickup lines or the fake confidence routines, the deep neurological evolutionary mechanics of how a woman's attraction system actually works. And I'll warn you now, the final trigger I share with you is incredibly powerful. It can shift her entire perception of you almost overnight, and almost no man on earth uses it correctly. So stay until the end. But first, let's get honest about what actually happened. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. You were taught that kindness equals attraction, that being available shows you care, that a good man is a consistent man, a reliable man, a man who makes her feel safe by always being there. And all of that is true eventually. But attraction doesn't start with comfort. Attraction starts with something much older than logic, something that bypasses her conscious mind entirely and speaks directly to a part of her brain that's been wired for millions of years. You didn't fail because you're not good enough. You failed because you were using the wrong sequence. You were trying to build a house starting with the roof. Here's the framework that makes all of this make sense. Evolutionary psychology tells us that female attraction is not primarily visual the way male attraction often is. Women were designed biologically, neurologically, and assess a man's value through behavioral signals, not his face, not his height, his presence, his reactions, his emotional calibration, whether he can hold himself together when things get uncertain, whether he has enough going on in his life that your attention actually means something. Her subconscious is running a scanning program in the background of every interaction. It's asking questions she'll never say out loud. Does this man have direction? Does he know who he is? Does he need my validation to feel complete? Is his attention rare enough to be worth something? When you answered all those questions wrong, not because you're weak, but because no one taught you how to answer them, her attraction system quietly, almost automatically disqualified you. Not her conscious mind, her wiring, conscious mind, or her evolutionary blueprint. This is the hidden operating system you've been fighting against without knowing it exists. Once you understand how to send the right signals, you stop chasing. You stop over-explaining. You stop trying to convince. And something remarkable happens. She starts trying to figure you out. She starts reaching. You become the one she's thinking about. Let's walk through exactly how the first trigger is masculine presence. And I want to be very clear about what this means because most men get this completely wrong. Presence has nothing to do with looks. It has nothing to do with money or status or being the loudest man in the room. Masculine presence is grounded energy. It's the quality of being completely in your body, completely in the moment, completely unbothered by external approval. When you walk into a room and you're not scanning for who's watching you, not performing, not adjusting yourself based on the energy around you, she feels that her nervous system registers it before her brain even processes it. Try this next time you're with her. Slow down. Don't rush your words. Don't rush your movements. Take up space without apology. Let silence exist without feeling it. A man who is comfortable in silence is a man who is comfortable with himself. That is the first thing she's feeling for even before you've said a single word. A grounded man doesn't chase validation. He generates it. The second trigger is emotional challenge. Now this is where men either get it exactly right or they weaponize it and make everything worse. Emotional challenge is not cruelty. It is not playing hard to get in a cold, punishing way. It is playful polarity. It is the energy that says, I see you, I like you, and I'm not going to hand over my approval that easily. When there's no challenge, there's no polarity. And without polarity, attraction collapses into comfort. Comfort is what you feel for a friend. You want to create a different feeling, a light, confident tease, a moment where you smile and don't give her the reaction she expected, a situation where she has to work just a little to get your full attention. This creates emotional tension. And emotional tension, when it's playful and warm, feels like attraction. It feels like excitement. It feels like he's different from the rest. A man she has to earn a little is a man she'll think about a lot. The third trigger is selective attention. This might be the one that changes the most for you immediately. Women are extraordinarily sensitive to the quality and consistency of your attention. And here's the counterintuitive truth. Constant attention destroys desire. When you're always available, always responding, always there, you eliminate scarcity. And without scarcity, there's no longing. You need to have a full life, real interests, real ambitions, real friendships that matter to you, not as a strategy, but as an actual way of living. Because when a woman knows that you have a world she's not fully part of, she wants to enter it. When you text her back after a few hours because you were genuinely engaged with something that matters to you, that is more attractive than being the guy who responds in 30 seconds every single time. Your attention only becomes valuable when it's not infinite. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join the Teal Swan Advice community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. There's an entire library of this waiting for you. And the men who are watching consistently are transforming the quality of their relationships in ways they didn't think were possible. Hit subscribe now and then come back because we're just getting to the good part. The fourth trigger is intentional listening. And this one, or when you do, it creates something almost magical. Most men listen to respond. They're in their head forming their next sentence, waiting for a gap in the conversation. Women feel this instantly. But intentional listening is different. It means you are genuinely present. You are tracking not just her words, but the emotion behind them. The thing she says casually but means deeply. And then days or weeks later, you bring it back. You remember the name of her colleague who stressed her out. You ask about the thing she mentioned once quickly, like it wasn't important. You notice that act of noticing, of remembering, the small things does something profound to how she sees you. It tells her subconscious that she is seen. And being truly seen by a man she's attracted to is one of the most powerful experiences a woman can have. Attention that remembers is the rarest kind, and she will not forget it. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. Now, this one is delicate because the advice men get about vulnerability falls into two extremes. Either never show weakness, be a stone wall, or open up completely. Be emotionally raw, show her everything. Both of these are wrong. Calibrated vulnerability is sharing something real, something meaningful, something that took courage to say without making her responsible for carrying your emotional weight. You tell her about something that challenged you, a time you failed in what you learned, a fear you've been working through. But you deliver it from a place of self-awareness, not collapse. You're not asking for rescue, you're inviting her into a real moment. When a man can do this, can be honest without being fragile, open without being desperate, it creates a kind of emotional intimacy that is almost impossible to walk away from. Real strength isn't the absence of feeling, it's feeling without losing yourself. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch, and I want to say this clearly. This is not about moving fast or pushing boundaries. This is about using touch the way it was neurologically designed to work slowly, intentionally, and with full respect for her comfort. Touch releases oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. It creates feelings of warmth, trust, safety, and connection, but it only does this when the touch feels natural, not forced. A light hand on her back when you guide her through a door, a brief touch on her arm when you're laughing together, a moment where your hands brush and you don't immediately pull away. These small, calibrated moments of contact are building something in her nervous system. They're building a physical language between you two before anything has even been said explicitly. And that physical language, when built slowly and respectfully, creates a depth of connection that words rarely can. Touch that's earned feels completely different from touch that's taken. The seventh trigger, the one I told you to wait for, is controlled unpredictability. And this is the one almost no man uses correctly. Here's the neuroscience. Dopamine, the chemical responsible for desire and craving, is not primarily released by rewards. It's released by the anticipation of uncertain rewards. This is why slot machines are more addictive than guaranteed payouts. The unpredictability is the drug. When a man is completely predictable, when she knows exactly how he'll respond, exactly what he'll text, exactly how available he'll be, her dopamine system goes quiet. There's no mystery to solve, no reward to anticipate. But when you are sometimes warm and engaging and other times focused and the little distant, not punishing her, not manipulating, but genuinely living a life that doesn't revolve around her, her mind starts reaching. She starts wondering. She starts thinking about you between interactions. She starts looking forward to the next time. You become the variable. And the brain is hardwired to pursue variables. Mystery is not coldness. It's depth she hasn't fully explored yet. Now, I need to say something important before I close. These are not tricks. They are not manipulation tactics designed to trap someone or manufacture something fake. What you have just been given is a map to how attraction actually functions on a psychological and neurological level. Every single one of these triggers used with awareness and respect makes you a better man, not just more attractive. They push you toward having a real life, real presence, real emotional intelligence, real courage. The man who masters these is not running a game. He's becoming someone worth wanting. And that's the shift I want you to feel right now. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not someone who failed. You were simply running an outdated program with missing code, and now you have the update. Now you understand the invisible signals that were always there. Now you know what she was looking for when she looked at you and didn't quite feel it. That was information. That was feedback, not rejection. And armed with this, you don't approach the next conversation the same way. You walk in differently. You carry yourself differently, not because you're performing, but because you understand. You see the system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That knowledge lives in you now. It changes how you listen, how you move, how you hold yourself, how you manage your time, how you communicate. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. And you now have it. The man who came into this video and the man who finishes it are not quite the same. You leveled up quietly, silently, just by understanding. That's how real change works. Not in a loud moment of motivation that fades by morning. In a quiet shift of perspective that rewires the way you see the whole game. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to Teal Swan Advice now. Turn on notifications because the next one will shift your reality again. Everything you thought you knew about attraction is just the surface. We go deeper here. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe.